Good evening, everyone, again. As we all know, artificial intelligence is no longer a futuristic concept restricted to science fiction. It has become a transformative force that is fundamentally changing the way businesses operate across the globe, from healthcare and finance to manufacturing and construction. Artificial intelligence is altering strategic decision-making processes and revolutionizing industries all over. So let's delve deeper into this with experts with us to understand various facets that can help us navigate the change and harness the power of artificial intelligence in construction sector particularly. I'll start with some broad questions to each one of you. How do you think can AI be effectively leveraged to enhance the sustainability and cost effectiveness of building projects in Indian context? Mark, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, and very pleased to be with you today, and thanks a lot for joining this very important event for the Nemetschek Group. So first of all, if we go back first to combine the notion of combining AI and sustainability, I think it's a topic that is very dear to us. We all know that to digitize construction, to digitize better also the relation between the field work and the office work, to better digitize the building in operation is a must. And we discussed a little bit earlier the cost of those tools that comes a lot as incremental cost. Actually, to shoot two birds at the same time, it means to afford a digital transformation while meeting sustainability goals for our customers is actually an opportunity that we can take all together. And the possibilities are absolutely infinite to leverage AI combined with sustainability goals. Every steps that we have, structuring the unstructured data, getting access to a massive level of knowledge. Is it about knowledge about regulation, knowledge about energy tariff, for example, of accessing renewable energies? Is it knowledge about other alternative you would have in designing a structure from concrete metal to hybrid concrete wood or metal wood is also an example to lower the carbon. So the possibilities are absolutely infinite to match sustainability goals through AI technologies.
When it comes to artificial intelligence, you know that the most important aspect of completing the project in time is the better planning. You know, as they say that better planning, half project done, right? So I definitely believe that we can leverage the AI, artificial intelligence, to better plan the project upfront. And of course, along with that, it is like, you know, you can use artificial engineering, artificial intelligence in design phase of the project. And also, which will actually help us to do the better resource planning at the end of the day. You know, that it is important that we do better resource planning. We can use tools like BIM for the purpose of the design. And not only BIM, I would say that, you know, that we need to also have a real-time data of the site. You know, that I was working on one other project and we came with the idea like, you know, that to see the real-time status of the site, we do the laser scanning of the site and impose that data onto the BIM and, you know, that make sure that if there are any mismatches in the BIM with respect to the real-time status of the site, you can fix those. So we can use artificial intelligence in that aspect. And then, as I told you, resource planning. But one of the most important and foremost, you know, thing is that we don't take care of safety. We don't give importance to safety much. I think we can use AI to ensure that all the safety protocols are being followed during the construction at site. And it will also help us to train people. You know that we have a workforce who is not skilled enough. We are not short of labor. We have a lot of laborers available in the country, but we don't have skilled laborers. You know that we can use AI to train our laborers and make them, you know, that they have to follow the safety protocols, ensure that all of those people who are working at site follow the safety protocols So there are a lot of things AI can do. So I am just talking about a few things which will help us, that to plan, like better planning, design, using the artificial intelligence during the design stage, resource management, safety. And last thing is that, that we can go for the, that precast construction when we go for precast and the modular construction, offsite manufacturing. So we can use AI for that purpose as well. Thanks.
Mr. Tamhane, your view?
Good evening. See, when we talk about the construction industry, 4 important points: quality, safety, cost, and the schedule, which are really important. And considering the life safety, when we start the conceptualization up to execution and then further goes to operation and maintenance, where we can leverage artificial intelligence everywhere. So first point in the important, which is related to the predictive energy analysis. Predictive analysis is really important considering all the risks which we can do in artificial intelligence. So energy conservation, water conservation, all these parts which can leverage through artificial intelligence. Smart building technologies can be implemented through this. Then sustainable material, the material which we generally choose for the construction industry. So starting from the design, all the material specification details are cleared, and then accordingly the execution is done. So this part is really important, that sustainable material, which is a cost impact also, accordingly which can be a cost effective. Optimized building design. Now when we talk about optimized building design, it comes for the design related aspect. Number 2, it comes with the even the materials, sustainable material, and which saves the time also. So this is one important point. Then construction waste reduction. So how we can optimize on the construction waste reduction can be utilized or leveraged through artificial intelligence. Water G, energy conservation, which can be a part of it. So all from the design life, if we'll consider, this can be leveraged for the entire life cycle of the building industry. Thank you.
What are the key challenges, according to you, gentlemen, and opportunities in integrating environmental, social, and economic considerations into the life cycle of construction projects in India?
Actually, my answer might not be specific to India. Actually, I don't know how many of you are interested in the decision making around sustainability or climate change, mitigation of climate change impact, and all of that. But we know that actually we are talking more than we act. And how, as a software developer, as a software vendor, we can, with the help of AI, drive the proper behaviors. How can we drive a user experience? It can be a chatbot, an assistant that is constantly guiding the designer towards alternative choices on every decision that he has to make. He has to make a decision. You were mentioning a little bit earlier an energy model. We all know that actually when we make a thermal model, the energy model is derived from there, and your energy mix will be derived from your energy model. How can we make any designer more knowledgeable about the latest technologies, the latest regulation, the latest standard, by creating a bot, an agent, an assistant that will help him. The decision making, the human factor towards making our projects overall more sustainable is the biggest today barrier that we meet in executing towards climate change mitigation.
Mr. Kaul?
So when we talk about challenges, one of my friends initially mentioned some time back that regulatory hurdles are very much in India, that we need to overcome those hurdles. And along with that, the next thing which comes to my mind is the skilled labor. We are short of skilled labor. When I say skilled labor, I'm not talking about engineers. I'm talking about the people who actually work at site, who do the real construction. It is not engineers who do the real construction. Engineers supervise, but there are people who do the real construction, who are short of skilled laborers in construction. And then another challenge is the way Indian clients behave is different from the clients or the customers out of India, outside India behave. That there is less of stakeholder alignment in India, whether it comes to the alignment or relation between the customer and the contractor or the subcontractor. Here the client does not get too much involved in during the construction part because they believe that, okay, we have given an order to the contractor, it is their job, it is their headache. So, but that mindset has to change. There has to be alignment. The client, contractor, subcontractor, they should be working together. So if they work together, that it will ultimately the client who is going to benefit, but they don't understand that. So those are the challenges, I would say. But when it comes to opportunities, I see that, that we can, technological advancement, that AI can help us to, the leverage on the technological advancement, like when we talk about a building information modeling or even for that matter, building management system. So this is one of the greatest opportunity which we can leverage on. Yeah.
Mr. Tamhane?
Yeah. See what, as Mr. Kaul said, challenges in Indian context is related to the timeline for the processes, completion of the processes. During this time, project gets delayed. As I said, that schedule is very important. And when it gets delayed, it's an impact on the cost. Then the effectiveness of the project, the cost increases because of the delays in the processes. So once we get the approval on the environmental related processes, then monitoring and controlling those processes is really important. So that also, the controlling of this monitoring is how we are going to do. That is possible in artificial intelligence. Then challenge related to the minimum participation of all the stakeholders. Then even the public awareness about the economic and then related to the environmental clearances required, that is opportunity. But if we are talking about the opportunities, so once we get through all these things, mainly related to the projects which are getting created as a sustainable project. So when we start working on the sustainable project, the creation of the project is the opportunity. Utilization of the resources, then sustainable and eco-friendly processes which can be adopted. That is the opportunity on this. Investment in the sustainable infrastructure projects is the opportunity. So there are many opportunities once we start working on this.
One of the key challenges, I think, based on what you all spoke, is alignment of interest of all stakeholders. So that seems to be a key challenge. My next question is about that. What do you think, how can stakeholders, including, say, developers, contractors, government, and communities, collaboratively implement artificial intelligence technologies to achieve sustainable and cost-effective building projects in Indian context? Marc, you
Yeah, on this topic, first of all, you know the Nemetschek origin. We come from Europe. You know GDPR in Europe. So Europe is usually extremely prudent in addressing technologies. So the first principle is to protect the user. Sometimes we protect more the users than the business opportunity, but it creates an advantage in the case of AI. And at Nemetschek, as Yves was mentioning, we are a 60 years old company. Our founder turned 90 years old earlier this year. We don't want to take any reputational risk. We don't want to put at risk the intellectual property of architects, engineers, and builders. And we don't want to put at risk also the business integrity of our stakeholders. So we believe that the alignment of designers, consultants of all kinds, engineering firms, builders, investors, building operators will go through a very strong transparency and compliance to ethics and trustworthy principles to build our models. We want to build our models on our own data. We don't want to to use project data that are the property of our software users. And we need to make that in a full transparency. So I would say the first level of alignment that we want to bring through the entire ecosystem is to bring a level of trust into the models that we will be making available to the users.
Mr. Kaul?
Yeah, my friend talked about the level of trust. I would say that level of trust, particularly we need to convince the end customer. I would say not the user. User may be the, like for example, EPC company may be the user of the, say for example, building information modeling. But as one of my friends earlier said, that customer believes that what is in there for me? It is an EPC contractor who has used to use the BIM. So I'm not getting anything out of that. So why should I pay it extra for this? So it is important that the end customer understands that what is it there for them. You know, that ultimately they are going to benefit from it. So that, you know, that understanding is currently missing. So it is like, you know, that as a business, like, you know, that Nemetschek may come to the engineering companies or the EPC companies for, and, you know, that put their case forward, okay, you buy this software from us, it is going to help you to manage the project, that is fine. But ultimately, the engineering company or the EPC company, they are not going to pay it from their own pocket. Ultimately, it's the end customer who has to pay it. Unless and until end customer is convinced that it is going to give, you know, ultimately benefit them, they are not going to pay for it. So it is important that end customer gets convinced. So then only the user will get convinced. When I say user, user means the user, actually the party who actually uses these types of softwares.
Mr. Tamhane?
Yeah. See, when I was talking about the stakeholders, so I think in this, the knowledge sharing is really important. Whatever we do, carry out in the projects, it has to be shared. The importance related to artificial intelligence for the complete life cycle of the project, how can be utilized. So this is important. Everybody as a stakeholder should know that. Then setting up the goals. See what exactly, because all the stakeholders should be at the same page. So setting up the goal is really important. Then artificial intelligence is mainly related to the data. So this data, investing in the data creation is really important. Then once we create the data, on that protection of data is also important, because this is the major different project knowledge on information which we put it as an analytic data. So the protection of the data is important. Then developing the AI-powered tools. So investment in that is really important, and the understanding of that. Once we create the tools for the AI, then even the training is required. So how we are going to train the complete entire, the stakeholders, the users, how we are going to train that. So this is also important in this. Then innovation. So innovation in this, when we are talking about the economy, when we are talking about the sustainability and AI, the creation of certain things, the innovations which gives a lot of advantage in this. Then setting up the guidelines. Guidelines for these specific things are important. So accordingly, based on the guidelines, setting up all the goals on the basis of which it can be created. And once we create all those things, monitoring and controlling is also important. Once we create all those things, then how it is going on. Basically, the implementation of artificial intelligence in different projects, whether it is giving a value. So all those things has to be recorded, which can give a further things for any mitigations if it is required. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kaul, what are some of the examples of AI technologies currently being used in construction projects, and how do they contribute to sustainability?
Okay, so I would say, like, when it comes to the construction, you know, that as I mentioned earlier, offsite manufacturing, you know, that, let me give an example, like piling, right? Now, these days, what we are doing, like, you know, that why we need to create a reinforcement mesh for the pile at site. Why can't we do it in shop? And use certain software, use some artificial intelligence, why then the wastage of the material steel can be reduced. You know that. So Another thing is that precast construction. You can do it at shop and then bring those precast to the site and then join them together. So we have seen that we save a lot of steel if we do it at shop. When we do modular construction, a lot of steel gets saved and the things get done faster. When things get done faster, like obviously cost is reduced. So these are some of the things. There are many other examples, but these are few things wherein that cost of the construction can be brought down and it will be more sustainable.
Mr. Tamhane, can you shed some light on project management tools using artificial intelligence?
All right. In mainly project management, when we carry out, its project management starts from the conceptualization of the project and goes throughout the life cycle of the project up to the execution. So when we start planning is really important when we start the project. Conceptualization, before conceptualization, we start with the planning, the project, how it should be. Then even the communication within the stakeholders is also an important aspect of this, because when everybody is on the same page, so that the project flow and the details, it can enhance the output of it. In a project management, one important thing is related to the timelines, the time schedule and how you are going to manage. So scheduling, monitoring and details related to that. So it comes with the planning related things. So all those things in a project management, definitely AI can get implemented and accordingly can be utilized for effective or better project execution.
Thank you. Mark, we talk a little bit about financing. What are the innovative financing models that are available to support sustainable building projects in India, and the global experience also we would like to hear from you. And how can AI facilitate and help these models?
Yeah, actually, with or without AI, definitely there are financing models today on everything which is around green buildings and buildings with, let's say, environmental footprint that are meeting very ambitious requirement. We were talking about a few hundred CO2 kilogram per square meter built. We have even example of companies going down to 1995 with short circuit of sourcing material and so on and so forth. And they know that by proving it, they have access today to cheaper money to finance their projects. So there is an economy, there is an economical reasoning in making building as a financial asset class belonging also to green funding, definitely.
Mr. Kaul, how can artificial intelligence assist in optimizing the supply chain for construction materials and ensure cost effectiveness along with sustainability?
Okay, when it comes to supply chain, the selection of the vendors or the suppliers, that artificial intelligence can help us on that. And it can also help us in, maintaining the proper logistics. We need to get the material at site only when it is required, because that if you store a material at site, that is also going to cost. You need to find a place for storing this material. So you need to have a logistics in place in a proper way, and you should be also selecting a supplier who is able to, that supply the material in time. So these are the things, and other than that, that how much material should come to site and how the suppliers get paid, in a proportionally, like the way in the amount of the material they supply in proportion to that they get paid. So these are certain things wherein that the artificial intelligence can help us in supply chain management.
Thank you. Mark, what according to you are some ways that AI can help us in monitoring and ensuring compliance with environmental regulations and standards in construction projects?
Yeah, I would have two examples on that on that topic. One example, by the way, that we that together with Vectorworks landscape, which is helping to I mean, a software that classically would have been applied for landscape design, but in an area where we need to have urban greening, where we need to mitigate heat wave in urban environment to transfer asphalt into green areas. At the time where for flood management, we need to have natural water sink or draining plan differently in cities. You combine satellite imaging, topography with a software, with the intelligence also on flood management and with the software with landscape design, and you get actually very wonderful opportunities to mitigate the climate impact into a situation of let's say redesigning the urban context. A second example, here in this room, you take people who had been doing the HVAC, okay, they come from the mechanical discipline. People who had been doing power, the electricity, they come from the electrical. People who had been putting a lot of length material, horizontal material, piping, and so on and so forth, they come from the P of the MEP. Some people had been designing the wall. They come from structural design. Some people had been thinking about the material to cover the floor, to cover the wall. They come from interior design. When you combine all of that, thanks to AI, you get the advantage of advanced simulating or simulation capabilities through the multi-physics of materials. The multi-physics of building materials combined with the dynamics of MEP, and there is not a single human brain who can come up with those type of results. So we believe enormously much in AI for advanced simulation, virtualization of sensors, to be much less dependent from installing sensors, but having the possibility to virtualize the sensing capabilities. So that's a very concrete element. We have today 15 PhDs financed by Nemetschek working on the multi-physics of building materials, especially between structure and MEP, because we believe through the cross-disciplinary and having a form of fusion between those disciplines, we will gain enormously much in optimizing the envelope, optimizing the subsystem.
Great. I would like a final word from each of you about what steps do you think industry stakeholders can take today to prepare for a more sustainable and cost-effective construction industry tomorrow with the usage of artificial intelligence?
Okay. Okay, I volunteer to start then. I mean, it's if I have to explain to my kids what I do, I will tell them AI, it's a how. But what makes me getting up in the morning is to make a world that's going to be livable, durable, that will be in respect of the environment. So the what we're going to achieve when we are in designing, engineering, building, operating of all those facilities, the what is about sustainability. It's a sense of purpose that is immense. And we can support that sense of purpose with the help of technologies that are AI, artificial intelligence technologies, to gain time, to gain capabilities. That's what I would have as a conclusion world, full of optimism to drive a livable and durable and sustainable world with the help of AI.
Mr. Kaul?
I would say, that innovation, technology, train people, make them understand the importance of artificial intelligence to help us to attain sustainable world at the end of the day.
Tamhane?
Artificial intelligence, see, it's mainly related to the technology, softwares, whatever we are analyzing, analytical things, it's a data analysis. So whatever we get from that, but at the same time, there should be understanding by all the engineers and then contractors that what the outputs are giving by these technologies are correct. So there should be some sense of understanding what is the output of that and whether it is matching. That should come up with the experience. So that is what I will say.
Great, great. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for an insightful discussion. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Ken.